Do you remember whenever Braun Strowman won the tag team titles with that 10-year-old, like Nicholas or whatever his name was? That's Johnny Gargano. He's a contractually obligated Make-A-Wish kid. They just input Johnny into all of these other guys' things because they know he can't get over on his own. Chest up, shoulders back. Welcome to Revival Wrestling, everybody, where I have better wrestling takes than you. Come on, man, turn. And you know it. We're going to talk about Johnny Gargano. And I'm going to disclose right up front, this guy sucks, bro. That's just my opinion, but truly, I don't see how you could watch this guy perform and legitimately, truthfully say to yourself that he's good. Because if you look at like Twitter and the online community, everybody loves this freaking guy. Dude, Johnny Wrestling, bro, he's amazing. Dude, this guy is so bad. He can do a few cool wrestling moves. I'll give him that, right? Can't take that away from him. He's not bad in the ring per se. But in terms of a wrestling character, a believable wrestling character, nothing happening. Unless he's selling a move, you know, he can wince and stuff, which big deal. That's like day one of the job. But when it comes to actual in-between moves being made, his face looks like this the entire time. Cornette is totally right, dude. Johnny, same face. He always has this just optimistic but goofy, confused look on his face. He's just always like, Dude, this guy is just, I mean, as if the character wasn't bad enough. Because I ask this to all the guys that love Gargano, and they never have an answer. I'll ask them every single time. What is his character? What is the reason we should invest? You guys remember the video I made recently. There's a huge lack of characters today. Why should I care about this guy? Here's what they say every single time. You clearly didn't watch him in NXT. Every time, that's exactly what they say. That's all they have. I don't know if you guys realize this, but nobody cares about NXT besides the 500,000 people that watch NXT. NXT is irrelevant to the main roster. If you need proof of this, look at all these guys they've called up over the past couple years. And of course, Vince McMahon has tarnished some of them. You can't take that out of the equation. But a lot of these guys now with Triple H running things, or running most of the things now, they get to the main roster, nothing happens. They can't get over. Okay, a lot of you guys, and I understand why you like NXT, right? Because it's, you know, it has that more indie feel. It's cool, all this stuff. It's more personal because the crowd's smaller. But just because you got over in NXT does not mean you're going to sniff being over on the main roster. And there's all kinds of examples of this. Okay, Gargano's one of them, Karrion Kross. I mean, God, I'll make another video on Karrion Kross. That guy is lipstick on a pig. He has the crazy entrance, the smoke, the lights, the bird flying, Scarlet, the woman. Can't get over to save his life because he has no personality. But back to Gargano. He has no personality either. I mean, bro, I understand not everybody needs to be a mass monster anymore or extremely tall, but can these guys be at least believable to win a fight? Gargano is what, 5'7" and a $145? Oh, but he does good moves and he can do spots. I don't care. The general public does not care, bro. Did you guys see in the Royal Rumble, do you remember the first big spot he did, right? He had somebody was tied up on the ropes, and then Sheamus came over and did like the 10 beats to the chest he does. Dude, Gargano literally sits there. This is why I call him a Make-A-Wish kid. He just gets inserted into these spots with no real rhyme or reason to be in the spot. But he sits there with the guy on the rope, and Sheamus comes over, and he just literally sits there, because again, nobody cares about him. He looks out to the crowd, he's like, hey, Sheamus is doing the beats of the bludgeon, or whatever they call it. That was him in the Rumble. Aside from that, he did a few moves, and he just kept hanging around because Triple H wants, I guess, Triple H loves the work rate guys, you know, the guys who can have a lot of stamina, which he has a lot of stamina, Johnny Gargano does. But again, that doesn't mean anything tangibly. It's like, okay, he can be in the ring for a long time, and nobody cares if he's in the ring for a long time, besides the NXT marks, okay? And then the Elimination Chamber made me furious. First of all, before the Elimination Chamber, they let this freaking guy go over Austin Theory clean. That is unforgivable in my opinion. Dude, Austin Theory is like a legit Giga Chad in real life. And he lost clean to Johnny. I'm spitting, I'm so upset. He lost clean to Johnny freaking Gargano, dude. That happens. And then in the Elimination Chamber, we're supposed to believe that Austin Theory, again, the guy who's like, what, 6'3", 230 pounds, gigantic. He's supposed to be scared of Johnny Gargano? who was up to, what, his nipple height? Do you remember the Elimination Chamber? Now, he was teaming up with Rollins for whatever they went after Theory for a part of it. But, dude, you mean to tell me Austin Theory... Dude, this is yet another reason why wrestling is never going to be mainstream again, because these marks just always have to get their way. And the marks now are doing the booking. Tony Khan's a great example of that. We're supposed to believe Austin Theory is scared and actually getting affected by Johnny Gargano. Are you kidding me, bro? This is not right. This is the United States champion. He has a title nonetheless. And he's supposed to be getting affected and scared. Like, he went in and hid in the Elimination Chamber pod from 5'7" Johnny Gargano, dude. And let's assume Theory fights Cena at Mania. Then he's going to somehow go over Cena. But he was scared of Johnny Gargano. God, wrestling today makes me sick, dude. Anyway, we're supposed to believe all of this. Not only that, in the Elimination Chamber match, too, what's the guy, Bronson Reed, that really big rotund guy with all the tattoos, I think? I forget if he has tattoos or not. But I don't really care about him. I don't know much about who he is, but he did pretty good in the chamber, right? Like, he had a few good spots. And once again, Johnny got offense in on this guy who probably weighs upwards of 400 pounds. He's enormous. And little Johnny is supposed to intimidate this guy and get shots in on him. Like, he was selling. Bronson Reed was selling. Austin Theory was selling for Johnny Gargano, dude. It's unbelievable. So, not only is he not just believable as a wrestler to be taken seriously, he doesn't have a character. I've seen him talk on the microphone, and again, I know the NXT fan, oh, he cut great promos in NXT. Again, nobody cares about NXT. That's the golden rule. Nobody cares about it. Even so, I've watched some of his promos. He's not a good actor. He's not very convincing. Now he has that thing going on with Dexter Lumis, who, again, they had him do that whole endless stalking thing with The Miz. So, again, they just input Johnny into all of these other guys' things because they know he can't get over on his own. But they have to insert him. Oh, put him with Rollins in the chamber. Put him with Sheamus at the Rumble. Put him with Dexter Lumis, who is also floundering at this point. Because, again, they have nothing really to do with him. Another NXT darling that gets to the main roster and nothing happens. All of this garbage, man. He should be called Jobby Gargano. I would happily employ that guy as a lifelong jobber. You know, he comes out and he's like, hey, everybody, I'm happy and I'm just trying my best. Maybe he gets a roll-up win every now and then. That's the extent of it. He is a jobber. That's exactly what he should be. But we're going to try to get told, and we're going to be pushed the fact that he's a legitimate wrestler, and he's probably going to win a mid-card title. That's the craziest thing. He's probably going to win a mid-card title in the next year or so. Do you remember whenever Braun Strowman won the tag team titles with that 10-year-old, like Nicholas or whatever his name was? That's Johnny Gargano. He's a contractually obligated Make-A-Wish kid. And all these NXT marks love him, and now they're saying, this is the new thing, well, when Tommaso Ciampa comes back from injury, they're going to form, what's the tag team in NXT? DIY? So once again, right, I mean, they admit this guy can't do it on his own now. Oh, well, but once Ciampa comes back, bro, Ciampa's not going to get over either. You NXT guys have got to get over this stuff, dude. These guys had a few banger 5-star matches years ago, probably heavily choreographed, kicking out of finishers over and over and over, which invalidates the entire concept of finishers. That's not just an NXT thing, that is widespread now. But still, you guys have got to get over NXT, man. NXT has absolutely zero correlation to the main roster, and it's never going to. Whenever you're dealing with NXT or indie crowds in general and stuff, they cheer for everything. And the reason a lot of these marks love the small guys is because it reminds them of themselves, right? They're like, oh, I'm also a small guy, or I'm also sort of out of shape. I wish I could do what these guys do. If you look at wrestling during its peak, even Cena, he's probably the most recent example. What do they always say about Cena? He can't wrestle. He only has a few moves. Most of the old-time legends only had a few moves. They did not have these expansive movesets. They couldn't do all these cool stunts and spots and everything. It's because they had a character, dude. They were charismatic. There was a reason to invest in them. All these guys now, they can do every move under the sun. Even the fat guys now can do tope suicidos and flips off the top rope and all this stuff, but they are not relevant character-wise. That's what fundamentally matters in wrestling. It's how you can build a feud, how you can get people to invest in you. It's not, oh, I can do this many moves and kick out of this many finishers. I don't know how many times we need to see it, whether it's NXT guys getting called up to the main roster or WWE guys going to AEW. A lot of the times they get exposed very quickly. And even if they are pushed by management, even if they're thrown into these feuds, even if they get the obligatory wins on TV and stuff, they're never going to be truly over. The NXT marks and the indie marks and the AEW marks will always love them because you guys love anything that you're spoon-fed as long as it's not just some big guy who the company should like and should invest in, right? It's ridiculous, dude. I'm so tired of this. I can't even take Gargano seriously. I never will, and he's going to win the US title eventually, I would assume. He seems to be a guy Triple H is going to start kind of pushing into the mid-card. Just ridiculous, bro. If he beats Austin Theory cleanly for the US title, I may throw my phone out my window. I don't know. I mean, who else the guy could possibly beat that is just clearly bigger, stronger, faster, more charismatic than he is? I don't know, dude, but I can't stand this guy, bro.